Welcome to the Discourse Analyzer AI Toolkit, where articles come alive. You're listening to the audio version of our article. For the full text and an interactive experience, check out the link in the description below. Interact with any selection using our AI assistant to enhance your understanding. Let's explore.
Notable theories and frameworks in multimodal discourse analysis. Multimodal discourse analysis leverages various frameworks to explore the complex ways in which communication unfolds across different channels. Notable theories include Kress and Van Leeuwen's social semiotics, Norris's multimodal interaction analysis, Machen and Meyer's multimodal critical discourse analysis, and linguistic landscape analysis. Each theory offers unique insights into how meaning is constructed through combinations of text, visuals, sounds, and spatial arrangements. 1. Social semiotics, Kress and Van Leeuwen. Social semiotics, as developed by Gunther Kress and Theo Van Leeuwen, is a theory that analyzes how different modes are used to create meaning in specific social contexts. This theory builds on traditional semiotics, which studies signs and symbols as elements of communication, by emphasizing the role of social and cultural factors in shaping meaning. 1. Key principles of social semiotics. Multimodality recognizes that communication extends beyond just language to include a range of modes like visuals, gestures, sounds, and spatial arrangements. Meaning is constructed through the interplay of these different modes. Semiotic resources. Modes consist of semiotic resources, which are the tools available for creating meaning, e.g., colors, shapes, sounds. These resources have particular affordances, capabilities, and constraints that influence how they can be used. Social context. Social semiotics emphasizes that meaning is influenced by the social and cultural contexts in which communication occurs. The same semiotic resource can convey different meanings depending on the context and the audience. Design and multimodal ensembles. The design refers to the deliberate use and combination of semiotic resources to achieve a particular communicative goal. A multimodal ensemble is the combination of different modes in a unified piece of communication. Interest and power. The theory acknowledges that interests and power dynamics influence how meaning is constructed and interpreted. Different groups may have varying access to certain semiotic resources, affecting their ability to participate in discourse. 2. Applications of social semiotics. Media analysis analyzes how different media use combinations of modes to construct messages that appeal to specific audiences. Examines how layout, images, and typography in magazines, websites, or advertisements communicate particular messages. Educational resources. Studies how textbooks, instructional videos, and e-learning platforms combine modes to facilitate learning. Analyzes how visuals and text are designed to reinforce each other in conveying educational content. Political communication. Investigates how political campaigns and speeches use language, images, and gestures to influence public opinion. Looks at how different media emphasize specific aspects of political issues through their multimodal ensembles. Design and branding. Examines how companies use logos, color schemes, and typography in branding to convey identity and values. Studies the role of packaging design in shaping consumer perceptions of products. 3. Significance of social semiotics. Understanding complex communication. Social semiotics provides tools for analyzing how different modes interact to produce complex, layered meanings. Emphasis on social influence. It highlights how social and cultural factors shape the use of semiotic resources, providing a richer understanding of communication. Framework for multimodality offers a structured approach to analyzing how multimodal ensembles are designed and interpreted. Social semiotics by Kress and Van Leeuwen remains a foundational framework for understanding how different modes come together in social contexts to create and communicate meaning. 2. Multimodal interaction analysis. Norris, multimodal interaction analysis, MIA, developed by Sigrid Norris, focuses on how multiple modes interact in face-to-face communication. This approach emphasizes the detailed analysis of communicative acts involving various semiotic resources such as speech, gestures, facial expressions, and spatial arrangements. 1. Key principles of multimodal interaction analysis. Multimodal density refers to the concentration and intensity of different modes used in a given communicative act. High multimodal density implies a rich interaction of modes, while low density indicates less modal interaction. Modal configuration describes the specific arrangement and interplay of different modes at any given moment during communication. This configuration shifts dynamically as the interaction unfolds. Embodied interaction emphasizes how physical presence and body movement, e.g., gestures, facial expressions, contribute to meaning-making. Highlights the importance of analyzing proxemics, personal space, and kinesics, body language. Action and higher-level actions. Actions are basic units of behavior, such as raising an eyebrow or nodding. Higher-level actions are combinations of actions that work together toward a communicative goal, like explaining a concept using speech, gestures, and eye contact. Intermodality focuses on how different modes influence each other during interaction. For example, how hand gestures and tone of voice complement each other to convey emphasis in speech. 2. Applications of multimodal interaction analysis. Education and classroom interaction analyzes how teachers use different modes like speech, gestures, and spatial arrangements to facilitate learning. Investigates student responses and participation through their multimodal behaviors. Healthcare communication studies how doctors and patients use a combination of speech, gestures, and eye contact to discuss symptoms and treatment. Analyzes how multimodal interactions affect patient understanding and satisfaction. Business meetings and negotiations examines how participants in meetings use body language, voice intonation, and spatial positioning to influence discussions. Looks at how these multimodal interactions affect decision-making and group dynamics. Social interaction studies casual conversations, focusing on how people use various modes to establish relationships and convey emotions. Analyzes how cultural differences influence multimodal interaction. 3. Significance of multimodal interaction analysis. Detailed microanalysis provides tools for analyzing the detailed interplay of modes in moment-to-moment communication. Emphasis on physical presence highlights the role of embodied interaction, showing how physical movements and space are integral to meaning-making. Insight into complex communication offers a nuanced understanding of how multiple modes interact in face-to-face communication to shape social interactions. Multimodal interaction analysis, as developed by Sigrid Norris, offers a comprehensive framework for understanding the dynamic interplay of modes in face-to-face interactions, revealing the complexity and richness of human communication. 3. Multimodal critical discourse analysis, Machen and Meyer. Multimodal Critical Discourse Analysis, MCDA, developed by David Machen and Andrea Meyer, integrates principles of critical discourse analysis with multimodal analysis. The framework focuses on uncovering how power, ideology, and social inequalities are expressed and reinforced through various modes of communication. 1. Key principles of multimodal critical discourse analysis. Critical discourse analysis, CDA, principles applies the CDA principles of examining power dynamics, ideology, and inequality in communication. Analyzes how these dynamics are embedded in visual, linguistic, and other semiotic resources. Multimodal analysis extends the CDA approach to include the analysis of images, sound, topography, and layout. Emphasizes the interplay between these modes in constructing and conveying meaning. Ideology and representation investigates how different modes are used to represent social actors, events, and ideologies. Looks at how multimodal representations can serve to reinforce or challenge societal norms and power structures. Framing and narrative analyzes how framing and narrative techniques across modes influence perception and understanding. Examines how different modes work together to establish specific narratives that shape how issues and groups are perceived. Visual grammar adapts Kress and Van Leeuwen's visual grammar to analyze how visual elements like color, composition, and size contribute to meaning. Links visual choices to broader social and ideological implications. 2. Applications of multimodal critical discourse analysis. Media and advertising analyzes how advertising campaigns use visual and linguistic strategies to promote consumerism and shape perceptions. Investigates how media portray specific groups or events using a combination of modes, reflecting and reinforcing ideologies. Political communication. Studies how political campaigns use visual symbols, slogans, and videos to frame candidates and issues. Examines how power dynamics and ideologies are conveyed through campaign materials and political speeches. Education. Investigates how educational materials use different modes to frame historical events or social issues. Examines how curriculum materials can reinforce or challenge existing power structures through multimodal representations. Social media. Analyzes how social media platforms combine text, images, and video to convey messages that reflect social and political ideologies. Investigates the role of memes, hashtags, and other visual, textual elements in shaping public discourse. 3. Significance of multimodal critical discourse analysis. Comprehensive approach. Combines the critical analysis of power and ideology with multimodal analysis, providing a comprehensive framework for understanding complex communication. Emphasis on visual and non-textual elements. Highlights the importance of non-textual elements in shaping discourse, expanding the scope of critical analysis. Practical insights. Offers practical insights into how media and communication practices influence public perception and reinforce or challenge societal norms. Machen and Meyer's multimodal critical discourse analysis framework is essential for understanding how multiple modes are used to express and maintain power dynamics and ideology in various forms of communication. 4. Linguistic landscape analysis. Linguistic landscape analysis, LLA, is a framework for studying the visible use of written language in public spaces. This approach examines how signs, billboards, street names, graffiti, and other written texts contribute to the linguistic and visual environment of a particular location. LLA incorporates visual and spatial aspects, providing insights into the sociolinguistic dynamics of multilingual societies. 1. Key principles of linguistic landscape analysis. Public space as a text. Views the physical environment as a communicative text composed of various written elements. Analyzes how written language in public spaces reflects social, cultural, and political dynamics. Multimodality and semiotic resources. Considers signs as multimodal texts that include both linguistic and visual components. Analyzes the interplay between text, color, font, and images in conveying messages. Language policy and identity. Investigates how linguistic landscapes reflect language policies, power dynamics, and identity issues in a given community. Examines how the visibility of different languages signifies social inclusion or exclusion. Top-down and bottom-up signs. Top-down signs. Official signs installed by governments or institutions, reflecting official language policies or regulations. Bottom-up signs. Informal signs by individuals or businesses that reflect grassroots language usage and practices. Spatial distribution and social dynamics. Analyzes the spatial distribution of different languages and symbols in public spaces, revealing the social hierarchy and power structures. Considers how the placement of signs, e.g., commercial versus residential areas, affects language visibility and perception. 2. Applications of linguistic landscape analysis. Urban multilingualism. Studies how multilingual cities use language in public signage, reflecting linguistic diversity and social dynamics. Analyzes how commercial signs use different languages to appeal to various demographic groups. Tourist destinations. Examines the use of multilingual signs in tourist areas, revealing the economic impact of tourism on language practices. Studies how different languages are prioritized to accommodate international visitors. Language policy. Investigates how official signage reflects government language policies and the promotion of specific languages. Assesses the impact of language regulations on the visibility and usage of minority languages. Community identity. Analyzes how local communities express their identity through signs, murals, and graffiti. Investigates how marginalized communities use the linguistic landscape to assert their presence and resist dominance. 3. Significance of linguistic landscape analysis. Understanding language politics. Offers insights into how languages are valued or marginalized within a society through their visibility in public spaces. Cultural and social dynamics. reflects the cultural and social makeup of communities, revealing patterns of language usage, inclusion, and exclusion. Interdisciplinary approach combines insights from sociolinguistics, geography, and visual communication, providing a comprehensive framework for understanding public texts. Linguistic landscape analysis provides a unique approach to multimodal discourse analysis by focusing on the interplay between language, space, and visual communication in public settings. Conclusion: these frameworks reveal how diverse modes of communication intertwine to convey meaning and influence perceptions. From the social implications of semiotic resources to the nuanced interplay of visual, textual, and spatial elements, these theories enhance our understanding of the intricate ways in which multimodal discourse shapes and reflects societal dynamics. Frequently asked questions: what is social semiotics, and who developed this framework? Social semiotics is a framework developed by Gunther Kress and Theo van Leeuwen that analyzes how different modes are used in social contexts to create meaning. It emphasizes the role of social and cultural factors in shaping how meaning is produced and understood. How does social semiotics contribute to multimodal discourse analysis? Social semiotics contributes by providing tools to analyze how different modes like text, images, and sounds are used within social contexts. It helps understand the cultural and social influences that affect how meanings are constructed and interpreted. What is multimodal interaction analysis, and what does it focus on? Developed by Sigrid Norris, multimodal interaction analysis focuses on the interplay of multiple modes in face-to-face communication. It examines how gestures, posture, gaze, and speech interact to convey meaning in real-time interactions. What insights can be gained from multimodal interaction analysis? Insights include understanding how different modes work together in spontaneous communication. It reveals how non-verbal cues like gestures and gaze play a crucial role in complementing and enhancing verbal communication. What is multimodal critical discourse analysis, MCDA? Multimodal critical discourse analysis, developed by David Machen and Andrea Meyer, examines how power relations are expressed through multiple modes. It combines multimodal analysis with critical discourse analysis to uncover ideologies and power structures embedded in communication. How does MCDA differ from traditional discourse analysis? MCDA differs by analyzing multiple modes, not just language. It considers visual, auditory, and other semiotic modes to uncover hidden power dynamics and ideologies in communication. What is linguistic landscape analysis? Linguistic landscape analysis studies the use of written language in public spaces, considering the visual and spatial aspects of signs, billboards, and other text in the environment to understand how language interacts with space. How does linguistic landscape analysis contribute to understanding public discourse? It helps reveal the linguistic and visual strategies used in public spaces to convey messages, reflecting social dynamics, linguistic diversity, and power relations within a community. How do social semiotics and MCDA complement each other? Social semiotics provides a theoretical basis for understanding how modes create meaning, while MCDA uses this understanding to critically analyze how these meanings reflect and reinforce power structures. What are the practical applications of multimodal interaction analysis? Practical applications include improving communication strategies, understanding interpersonal dynamics, and enhancing educational methods by understanding how people convey meaning through multiple modes. In what ways does multimodal critical discourse analysis address power relations? MCDA addresses power relations by analyzing how modes are used to reinforce or challenge social hierarchies and ideologies, such as through advertising, political messaging, and media. Why is linguistic landscape analysis important for multilingual societies? It's important because it reveals how different languages coexist in public spaces, reflecting social attitudes, power relations, and cultural diversity in multilingual societies. How does social semiotics interpret the role of cultural context in meaning-making? Social semiotics interprets cultural context as integral to meaning-making, arguing that the use and interpretation of modes are heavily influenced by the cultural norms and practices of a society. What are the methodological challenges in conducting multimodal interaction analysis? Challenges include capturing the complexity of real-time interactions, accurately coding nonverbal behavior, and interpreting the nuanced interplay of multiple modes in communication. How has multimodal critical discourse analysis influenced media studies? MCDA has influenced media studies by providing tools to critically analyze how media content combines different modes to shape public perception and convey ideologies, particularly in advertising and news media.